This is literally a shower thought, as you can tell by my wet hair. I just had to share this with you. This is how you don't waste your internship, your first steps into your career. Of course, there's hundreds of videos of what to do, what not to do. This is the best hacks, tips, tricks. So I'm not here to dictate what you're gonna do with your life and how you're gonna treat this. Take this as you will, but you can definitely treat this video as me reflecting on the 2 internships I did before I got a big girl job. Just reflect on your own and see, take any advice you think is useful and leave the rest. How do you make the most of your internships? Hi, my name is Sara. I'm an architectural graduate and currently working as a junior architect in Poland, in Wrocław. I did my first internship back in Sweden just after my master's, and then the second one in Copenhagen, Denmark. The first thing that I reflect on is the fact that as an intern, you're really at the bottom of this whole food chain. And no matter how smart, no matter how accomplished you are, I genuinely think that as an intern, nothing should be beneath you, because the things that you can learn from doing the tasks in the office, whether that is literally unloading the dishwasher or setting up a coffee meeting for clients or infilling a calendar, those are obviously tedious tasks that you would think that after graduating your master's you wouldn't really have to do. I genuinely think that, as I mentioned multiple times in my videos, that builds character, and also that builds discipline. I think the way that you can make the most of your internship is really just saying yes. Saying yes to opportunities, saying yes to tasks that no one else wants to do, saying yes to the things that you might think are completely redundant and unnecessary at this stage of your career. Because you're there to learn and you are literally at the bottom of that food chain, so you have nothing to lose. You can do all those tedious tasks, and in the eyes of your employers as well as your colleagues, you're going to be the one that's always happy to help. And whether you like it or not, it is a good trait to have and a good way to embrace your future steps, because you never know who of your employees or who of your colleagues might want to reach back out to you after you're done with your internship, whether that's staying in the company or later down the line you might cross paths. If you remain in the same industry, you would be surprised how small those worlds are. Everyone is in their own bubble, and those really are not as big as you think. I think that's the second thing that is quite obvious, but be kind. Whether that's the head of the project, whether that's a senior architect, whether it's HR, whoever is on the team, you just never know who you're gonna see later on in your career, and you never know who's gonna be helpful in the future, both you to them and them to you. Now, also, I think that one very important thing that I would really stand for is don't work for free. I know it's like this huge pressure of going on with like a very famous, in my case, architect, or if you want to be in a firm that's well known or have a reputation. Of course, that's all great, but you have to respect your time, because that's the only resource you have on this planet, truly. Your time is the one thing that you have to hold precious. It's going to pass anyway. And so if you're not going to be earning money over your time, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the name, the reputation, because it's more likely than not that that company actually has a worse reputation amongst other industry leaders, that they don't pay the interns rather than their projects are great. So I think, at least in architecture, everyone knows which companies don't pay their interns or don't treat their employees well. And it's never worth it. It's never worth it. What do you think about that? Because I feel like opinions are split. Personally, I don't think working for free is working. That's being a volunteer. Going back to the point that you have nothing to lose, I think there are so many opportunities for you to really gain from the experience apart from your literal regular work that you might not think about, but you have at your feet. For example, I had this thought one day at the office that I was working at that, hey, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna be able to extend my stay in Denmark. I don't know if I'll be able to work for them in the future. They're not really looking for anyone in the team yet, so they won't be able to hire me. I need, to start looking at CVs and portfolios for myself and putting things together. And I reached out to the people that actually work with recruitment, that work with clients. And I just asked for 45 minutes of their time to go over my CV and for them to give me feedback. And I know it might be out of your comfort zone to literally ask for their time and have them look at, a still at that point student portfolio or CV, but it's invaluable. These are industry professionals and they can look at your CV and your cover letter and your portfolio with fresh eyes. And of course, you have to make sure that they're okay with doing that within working hours. If not, do it after working hours. But I would 100% recommend using that to make the most out of your internship, to have a look at your skills, to make sure that you're presenting yourself right in those documents, that you're really showing your potential. So yeah, I think just reaching out and making friends with people all around in different sectors of your office or places where you work or intern is really gonna bring you so many benefits. Now, a little bit about saying yes. Apart from saying yes to tasks and apart from saying yes to help out making coffee for a meeting, I would really recommend asking your fellow colleagues what kind of events they go to, whether that's literal just for fun events in the city that you're in, or hobbies that they do, or perhaps in my case what I would find most relevant is company events. Because more likely than not, there's going to be at least one person in the office that always finds time to go to conferences, that goes to gallery openings, that goes to amazing events that are either to do with your industry or are parallel to it. And I think finding that out early, whether that's at an intern stage or at your first junior position, is going to be spectacular for you and for your awareness of what's happening in your industry and where your career can take you. For example, in Denmark, I took part in a few networking events, and of course that sounds so corporate and boring, but they were really nice events. One of the networking events was actually just an open bar with snacks and nibbles, and I met some lovely people there that I still stay in touch with, that were graphic designers, interior architects, and of course it's not easy for everyone to be extroverted and reach out to people, but once you take that step and give yourself a goal to just show up as a first, and second of all, to maybe talk to one person at the event, it's going to already push you further than you would have without going to that event. And I think that really brought huge benefits in my internships, just going to those events that are within the company and outside of it. Because then you're surrounded by people that maybe have a slightly different perspective. Maybe that's going to be your future employer. Maybe that's going to be your future friend. You just never know, because networking is this fancy word for making friends. It's literally just that. It's just about making contacts, being remembered as someone kind, nice, helpful, and maybe has a skill that is necessary, and being able to keep in touch. That's all it is. So I would really recommend attending events where networking just naturally happens. Sometimes that's even an after-work beer. Honestly, sometimes it's as simple as that, just going out and spending time with your colleagues and people from your industry. Just getting to know them. Even if you're not a person that drinks, 100% take a lemonade, no one's gonna judge you. I know this is another obvious one, but it has to be said. Ask questions. It's not easy, it's not fun sometimes, because maybe you feel inadequate, out of place, unskilled, whatever it is. You might feel just a little bit insecure about asking something that might sound dumb, but genuinely, it will save you time and it will save the company time if you ask a question of how things get done, how things work, and you'll get over that question asking phase very quickly if you do that at the start. Because if you try and fix something when you know that there might be a different solution, you don't know how things work, everything's new, it's just honestly wasting time. And also, it's just making your life more difficult because you're going to be sitting with a question and you're going to be stressed and you don't know how to solve this problem, and then you're going to be overthinking. At least that's how I feel in those situations. I'll just sit there and be like, oh, how do I do this? Ay. I would recommend asking questions, talking to your colleagues, and I kind of think it all comes down to trying to be kind to who you're working with. And, those relationships build over time, of course, but if you reach out, it's more likely they're going to be happy to help. Or if they won't be because they're busy or something's more urgent, they'll refer you to someone else. And I know it sounds scary because you're going to be there, like, figuring things out for a minute, but honestly, it's worth getting out of your comfort zone and asking than not and being stuck. Another thing is, I think this is kind of niche and dependent on the company, but if there are courses or programs that have licenses that you have access to, use it, because of course those things are for you. So if you have access to, whether it's LinkedIn Learning or courses within your industry, maybe some workshops, I highly recommend, because there's no better time than the present to learn, to evolve, to learn new skills, and also just feel more confident, because of course learning isn't easy, and getting over the hurdle of not being good at the start is a difficult one. So I highly recommend taking any sort of courses, workshops, or events that are happening at the internship that you're at. And maybe the last one on the list is definitely just to enjoy yourself. I know it sounds cheesy, I know it's been said a million times, but when you're at the start of your career, you have the chance to explore, to test things out, to not be perfect at things, expand your view on the world and on your career and perspective. And no matter whether you work at a small company, a big company, it doesn't matter. It's just about what you make of it, how you spend your time. If you're at work and you have a chance to work in the office, go to the office. I know it's easier to just sit at home and do distance and, work remotely, and be surrounded by other employees and be in person and make that like human connection with your work. I really recommend it. Enjoying the office culture or adding to it, or just learning about all the stories that people have from their career. I think it's really important to just speak with people and get to know their story. I'm really struggling to phrase this, but maybe the best way to explain it is you shouldn't be ashamed that you're just starting out and that you are curious. Because one thing I did was actually ask one of the founders of a company I worked at for literally 30-minute talk, and I just asked questions about their career, how they got to their position, what was their experience in university, what was their experience taking part in events like I was, what was their first job. I think it's really eye-opening to get a chance to speak with people that are way above you in skill and position. So I think being at an internship position, you might be overlooked, but at the same time you have great power and resources that you can learn from. Okay, my hair is nearly dry now. That's how long I've been talking. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for someone that is about to start their internship, and if you are, good luck. I hope you enjoy it, I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you have a great time in your new job. Thank you for watching. Maybe leave a like or a comment. What are your thoughts on this? Do you find like you disagree with any of this? Let me know. Let me know if you agree with that as well. Would you like add anything to the list? I'm genuinely curious. So leave a comment below and I'll see you next time. Bye!